Welcome back to Just Giants with Grump and the Cranky Fan, the best damn podcast for the best damn football team. I am your host, the Football Grump, and with me, as always, is Mike the Cranky Fan.
Aloha, Grump, from beautiful Maui. I needed to get as far away as possible from Gator football as I could, and I gotta be honest with you, it's been a hell of a 24 hours for me. It really has. I mean, I get so much going on right now. I mean, obviously we have, Giants Bucks, which is the focus of this, but when you get embarrassed again in your college football team, and then we finally fired Dan Mullen this morning, so I'm dealing with that. I set a record for how fast my phone went from 100% to 0% based on texts and tweets and following press conferences. It's pretty crazy. So I guess if you're going to be dealing with issues like that, having two bad football teams, you might as well be out here in paradise. So we'll muddle through this together.
The entire audience is just crying their hearts out for you. The best I can offer is I'm drinking a Kona Big Wave. I don't even know if it's actually based in Hawaii or not, but we're all, our hearts go out to you in Hawaii, having a tough time with your college football team. And
I'm very brave, and but hey, New York City FC won today. We advanced to the second round of the playoffs, so that's another nice thing. And the Knicks barely beat the worst team in the NBA yesterday. So baby steps in my recovery to to be whole again.
I am glad that you are on the path to healing. I'll say that. Yeah.
Beating the hated Bucks were one of my biggest rivals. It's definitely my biggest rival outside of the NFC East teams. We'll go a long way towards that as well.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. Well, I mean, for our sake, I don't know. I have a special hatred for Carolina as well. I think I'll carry that one for quite a while.
They stole my jersey, not yours, and you're the one who's.
It was everything. It was the whole crowd there. It wasn't just that one. I mean, that was the icing on the cake, but also it could have just as easily it could have happened to a stranger in front of me, and I would have been just as mad about it if I'm being honest. So, but nevertheless, yeah, like you said, this one's the Valari Bowl. This is Monday night, 8:30 at Raymond James, 8:30, 8:20, whatever, doesn't matter. Annoying people are calling the game. That's what's important. And
who's calling it?
I don't know. It's Monday Night Football. It doesn't matter. All of them are terrible.
Oh, that's right. In my head, I was thinking I don't know where I am anymore, so I was thinking it was the Thursday night game, and I'm like, is it Fox or CBS or whoever? But you're right. We got our good friends at ESPN doing it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Our esteemed colleagues. This is the big one, man. This is the game they have to try and win. They're coming off the bye. Guys are getting a little bit healthy. Big storyline. It looks like Andrew Thomas and Saquon Barkley are returning. Both being activated off IR. We expect they've been practicing. They look pretty good, and those are two huge additions, man. That's a big deal. Well, so this is, if they had any shot, this was it.
Let's be honest. If we want to have any hope for making the playoffs, if there's any glimmer of hope, you have to win this game because the rest of the division is starting to win games. Philly is. I'll finally admit they're not one of the three worst teams in the leagues like I thought they were. Washington is finding ways to win. Dallas is, has a nice cushion as of right now. If you want to think of yourself as a playoff, it's not how can everything else lose so we can sneak in. You have to win, and to win, you have to beat good teams to prove you deserve to be a playoff team. And this is an example. Bucks are a little bit on the ropes right now, haven't been playing well. Go out there and win a game. We matched up with them the last couple of years. Go, if you're serious, we're getting healthy, go win and deserve that, to have a conversation about the playoffs, no matter how crazy it might seem that we would be in it or not. If you, want to be considered seriously a team, not just backing into the playoffs, beat a team that's a playoff team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Bucks are 6-3, but they are coming off of 2 straight losses, which, I hate this stat, and I don't know if you're into these kinds of statistics or not, but like something like Tom Brady has only ever once lost 3 games in a row or something like that. That means nothing to you, right?
Nothing. No, it's if you want to play with filters, go ahead. But that just proves that he's been on great teams his entire career. And
well, it's not even that so much as it's a team sport. I mean, I don't take those individual statistics from year to year to year and attribute them to singular players. I think that's silly. But yeah, I mean, I will say this is, he is a great player and elevates the people around him, and he's currently on a great team. So I mean, it's not totally irrelevant. It's going to be tough. I mean, the statistic is bullshit, but
it doesn't matter. But the thing
it's
is,
going to be tough. It's going to be tough to imagine them losing again. I mean, especially they have some guys returning too. It looks like Gronkowski's going to come back in. They're thinking Scotty Miller as well, and Sean Murphy Bunting.
We're not very good either. The other thing too is, we are really hoping that this and this and this happens, and we get on a roll and that maybe we make the playoffs. Maybe good teams don't go through this, and this. I mean, we're trying to find our way. We're trying to grow and develop as a team, and playoffs would be wonderful, but just line us up, us versus them. They are a better team, so that is going to be a big problem. The good thing, though, is this is the perfect time to catch them. Never mind the losing streak. This is kind of that part of the season where, they get out to a nice, where they start off 6-2 or something, and you get that little mid-season doldrums now. Last year at this time they weren't so great either. It's like right around Thanksgiving is when the teams that are serious start to get that momentum and really start to get that playoff push. So this might be the perfect time before they start really firing on all cylinders, for that run to the postseason. So this in the schedule could not have happened at a better time.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. It's not like I don't know if you consider this like trap gamey or overlooking opponents, but even that win against Washington was just like a lot of just drop passes, and sometimes to me it looked like maybe being slightly off the not quite on the same page, but also just sometimes the ball not bouncing your way. Just some days nothing goes right. And it was like watching that game, and it's not like Washington had all the answers for what they were trying to do. It's not like Washington was hitting all these weak spots. It felt like they were just dropping everything that they normally catch. They were just dropping.
Grump, this is becoming more and more of a wonky league every single year and almost every single week. I mean, who had Indy going into Buffalo and beating the hell out of them?
Oh yeah, just beating the Christ out of them. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, who had Houston winning today?
Yeah. Who had Houston winning this year?
Yeah, it's getting to be more and more like baseball. Where it's just the randomness of these individual games. The talent level in the teams is getting closer and closer. The coaching is getting better and better across the entire league. It's in preparation in the off season. These guys are preparing year round. There's more talent coming in. I think players coming into the league from college are more prepared for the NFL. All these things you factor in is the difference between a Super Bowl contender and a scrub. That gap is just getting smaller every year, and these things are going to happen, which is good news for a team like the Giants. It's a scrub and is trying to become a playoff team. It's not hopeless. Magic marker that L's the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I will say though, it's a little bit. I don't know. I don't think Washington is like the doldrums of the NFL. They're certainly not very good, but this Tampa Bay team is assembled like a super team. I mean, it really. You bring in the quarterback of all time. You bring him in, and then he just assembles these guys. These are former first-round picks left and right, just coming there, playing on a discount, coming back just to play with Brady. I mean, they really assembled a team that was 3 years ago absolute garbage. And, they bring in one quarterback who then brings in everything, and they get a new head coach, and all of a sudden they've assembled this cast from around the league. Like, Leonard Fournette played, 1 year in Jacksonville?
More than that.
The two? I don't know.
Two?
I mean,
two?
These guys are still in their first round. Yeah, I mean, you get my point, though. I don't know. It just...
I think the two things that happened for them, they've been very fortunate, is that last year they were incredibly healthy. They've been banged up a little bit this year. But last year they were incredibly healthy. And then, in one of the rarest things you can see in modern-day sports, all 22 starters came back.
Yeah.
So
again, but that speaks to the super team aspect of it. These guys are, I mean, not that that's more or less wrong. I'm just saying, we're talking about how the difference in the NFL from the upper echelon to the bottom is getting closer and closer over the years. I agree with that. But I mean, this team, they really don't have any excuses. I mean, they're a little banged up, and their secondary. Well, let's get into it. Let's look at this team.
Yeah, they're not the greatest team I've ever seen. They're just
no, they're not. But I mean, they were definitely assembled that way. I mean, it was a pretty easy transition for them to just kind of grand slam Brady, and then he does the rest of the work. But I'm going to say this right now. The biggest weakness on this team is going to be the defense. It's actually hard for me to find anything on their offense that I feel good about attacking or some kind of thing that you can key in on. I don't think anything. But the defense, I definitely see something, and especially coming off of Vita Vea's injury. So that, to me, is one of the biggest storylines going into this, is that Vita Vea really, really hurt his knee last week, I believe.
End of the game, too.
Absolute trash, yeah. And he's doubtful to play. I mean, I think they got rid of the doubtful designation, but no one really expects him to play. And if he can't play, their backup for the nose tackle, first of all, Vita Vea is much more crucial than I think people realize, because he's not Shaq Barrett, because he's not JPP. People tend to overlook him, but Vita Vea might be the best player on that defensive line, if you ask me.
For what he does, it's gonna be true. Yeah.
I mean, in all phases, it makes it very, very difficult to run on them, and he pushes the pocket. I mean, he is the antithesis of Danny Shelton, if I'm being honest. But but his backup, Raheem Nunez-Roche, is the only other guy who can truly play that nose tackle, and he's actually, I think, a little underrated as well. Is expected to play, but is questionable. He's got an ankle injury. So, to me, right now, you look at the strength of this defense, and you've got those outside guys with, JPP, and you've got Shaq Barrett on the other side, and then you look at the middle there. The inside linebackers are two of the best inside linebackers in the game. Might be the top two, if you ask me. They have incredible sideline-to-sideline speed. They're very good in coverage and coming downhill with Levante David, Devin White. But that secondary is not very good. So to me, the way you attack this, stay away from that outside stuff. Let's go right up the middle. That's the avenue to score points, I think. That's the weakness that I see on this team. And then, you've got this average at best secondary that's super duper hurt. Really, really banged up.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest fear was, not be able to run the ball at all and having to be one-dimensional, and then they just scheme around it. Like, now I think you have the potential to run a little bit, maybe make the game a shorter game by getting first downs, running the ball, and playing for first downs, that you take your shots. So now I think it's a lot more feasible than it was at this time, 7 days ago.
Absolutely. So, like I was saying, I don't think that at full strength that this secondary is very good either. I mean, and this is something I said last year as well, and I'll stick with it because consistency says, or at least statistics say, that they were more bad than good overall, but they just hit some random stride in the playoffs last year where they played incredible, and I had to eat my words.
They outscored everybody, and then the pass rush got really good.
Yeah.
And I think Andy Reid was outcoached in the Super Bowl too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, so we have, but they're not even at full strength, right? So Sean Murphy-Bunting, I mentioned, is coming back. He's, in my opinion, he's average on the outside. But he's coming out from IR. They don't expect him to play 60 snaps. Or it's like Bruce Arians' quote is like, we expect him to be back, but asking him to play 60 snaps, that's a totally different thing. So they'll use him situationally, probably as the Giants roll out more and more wide receivers onto the field. They'll kind of sub him in whatever, nickel and dime packages or something like that, and give him less playing time, just see how he holds up. But they brought in, Carlton Davis is still on IR. They brought in Richard Sherman. He's on IR. I mean, they're really not that talented right now. D. Delaney is recovering from a concussion as well, and if he can't go, they're going to elevate Bleedy Ray Wilson, former Connecticut guy. He's, again, an average corner veteran.
Well, you can just stop right there at Richard Sherman. The fact they had to get him off the scrap heap tells you all you need to know about the depth and where this secondary is right now. I mean, he's hurt is absolutely no surprise. The guy probably shouldn't be in football anymore, but they were desperate, and they need to do something. So that tells you a lot, just why he's even here in the first place.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of get into what I think you can do here. They're really, really fast and a really aggressive defense. Todd Bowles' defense. He likes to blitz and exotically. He likes to bring it from different spots. So It's a good thing that they came from their bye week. I hope that Jason Garrett and Joe Judge sat down and Freddie Kitchens and they really, really ate the tape up and kind of are ready to spit it out with a plan here, because it's not going to be easy, and the Giants aren't very good at full strength. They're not even at full strength. They got two guys returning, so they're going to be a little bit rusty as well. Don't expect the best game from Andrew Thomas, just as a headline there. I mean, aside from the fact that he's playing against either opposite Shaq Barrett or JPP, doesn't really matter which, he's also just coming back, so who knows?
And I gotta be very honest, I have next to no expectations for Saquon Barkley coming back. I mean, if he comes back, it's going to be a slow process to get him back towards full strength. And even when he was close to full strength this year, he wasn't really showing much. Again, understandable based on what happened last year. But, I mean, he's not all of a sudden coming back and rerunning for 220 yards. Don't even think about that.
Oh, no. Though, I will say, like I was saying before, to me, the key to this game is going to be exploiting running the ball right up the middle. So this may not even be the game for Barkley, if you're asking me. I mean, this might be more of a Devontae Booker thing. Just, real decisive, trust the hole is going to be there, run power, pull guards, whatever it takes, exploit that middle. And, I mean, these stretch plays that we run with Saquon Barkley, he's not going to outrun Devin White, and he's not going to outrun Levante David. These guys are too fast and too athletic. But where the push can happen is right at the defensive line. Get those guys to come up and play closer to the line of scrimmage. Get tackled 4 or 5 yards. Then hit them with play action. That's how you got to do this one, in my opinion. Do a lot less of the zone read stuff. We're not trying to attack the outside. These guys are too good on the edge. But they are hurt in the middle. And you can use that play action. You can hit those 8 to 15 yard in routes and stuff right behind those linebackers. Get them sucked up. I know there's a bunch of research that you don't have to effectively run the ball in order for play action to work, but I think they have an opportunity to do that this game. I mean, you can run the ball here and get some opportunity. Get those guys sucked up and get those 8 to 15 yard pass plays in there.
Well, Grant, let's look at last year. Like, what worked last year? That was a really close game that we could have and some people think should have won. Like, what worked last year that we could try to, do again this year, or is it just a whole different circumstance?
I try not to do stuff like that, and I probably should have, because so much of the roster and so much of the staffs are actually the same. So now I'm operating off of memory, and the only thing I can really think of is that Daniel Jones had a particularly bad game that game, and there were just mistakes galore. And I think if those mistakes were cleaned up, they actually had a really good chance to win that game. It was very close. It came down to a failed 2-point conversion or something, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember. I don't know. But nevertheless, I think
we kept the game. We kept the game close the majority of the game too. So that's what I was kind of thinking of. How do we make this a shorter game? I think that's the key to winning this a game like this.
Well, yeah, 100%. Throwing the ball against the secondary is the way to score points, but it shouldn't be the methodology. This thing that we were doing the last couple of weeks with the really quick stuff and getting the ball out of his hand and trick plays and moving the pocket and getting Daniel Jones out of the pocket, that was partially to alleviate the bad tackle situation. I'm hoping we're seeing a Matt Parrott on the right side and an Andrew Thomas on the left side that we can not. Please don't do that. I mean, these secondary guys, they can be exploited. They're not very good. Don't give them the added, benefit of playing everything in front of them. Get them turned, get their hips turned, get them running. Especially because it's Todd Bowles. He likes to run a lot of man coverage stuff because he likes to blitz. When you run man coverage that plays to a particular strength of Daniel Jones, you go back to his first start ever in Tampa Bay. How did he win that game? Man coverage, the Red Seas parted, and he can scramble for the middle. Don't do the zone read shit. That's not going to exploit the same things. Get cornerbacks turned around. Get them running away. Get the linebackers covering Saquon Barkley on an out route. Let Daniel Jones scramble. If you look at the Eagles game and the way the Eagles kept it close with Tampa Bay this year, a lot of Jalen Hurts scrambling, not design runs. but it's kind of by design that you run these plays knowing that you will have like, you set it up like Daniel Jones. He knows where the routes are, where guys are going to be far away. You've got a flat route out here and everybody else is running deep here. If it's man coverage, there's going to be nobody in the flat there. That's going to be guaranteed couple yards if you can break the pocket. That's the kind of thing that will work against a Todd Bowles defense. You get man coverage, you exploit it with scrambling, or I mean, we never do it, but friggin' mesh routes and things like that.
Yeah. A Todd Bowles defense, what is the things to really look for from him? Like, what's his tendencies? What is his specialties?
Well, I can tell you this year, like, he likes to blitz. Like I said, he likes blitzes. He likes them to be exotic, and he likes them to come from strange places. And he loves to do it. He's going to keep doing it, and he's going to attack, man. He's an aggressive guy. But it's all going to be in the direction it comes from. So this is going to be a lot of pre-snap work, I hope, to kind of identify blitzes and where they're coming from. Stunt work, I would expect some of that as well. Like I said, I mean, he likes to control the sideline to sideline stuff. He's got the talent for it, so he's doing it. But to me, this is the game that we paid Kenny Golladay for. I don't care if Daniel Jones is under pressure. If you have man coverage with Kenny Golladay, let's use him. These corners aren't that good. I don't care if he's covered. Let him earn his paycheck. He's good at what he does. He can make contested catches. He's a big guy, and he's a strong guy. And you know what? Here's the other thing I'll say about Todd Bowles' defense. They're too aggressive. They can really be tripped up by hard count variations and things like that. A lot of undisciplined, just jumping. A lot of jumping off sides. Use that, and then, you can let that play to your strength as well. This team needs everything to get. A free 5 yards is hell yes. I don't know. And then the last thing is you got to time up deep shots. I mean, they're not good in the back end. They try to make everything quick to keep it in front of them, get them deep. So I know that we're not in a position right now to do some 9-step, 11-step drop and throw bombs often. But you got to do one per drive and time them up when you think it's right. They don't have to catch it. I mean, they're not good and they get beat a lot. That means a lot more penalties. And that's as good as a completion.
Here's to kind of, parry off what you just said about using their aggressiveness against them. If it's 4th and 2, line up to go for it. Like, let's not play this conservative style of, okay, we're just going to punt and play field position or something. Let's try to beat them at their own game. Let's try if we can get them to jump. Let's try to do some hard counts. Let's try to be aggressive. Let's try to extend drives that way. I think we can use that against them instead of, if it's 4th and 1 on the 45-yard line, instead of just automatically bringing out the punt team, let's see if we can create something out of nothing. That's the only way you're going to win these games is if you maximize the amount of possessions you have and try to win that way. So I am definitely an advocate of, especially on the road, the season is kind of, if you, again, like I said before, if you want to try to make a playoff run, you have to win games like this. You have to get out of your comfort zone. And I think with Joe Judge, we've seen those conservative tendencies. I think those plays on the margin, the 4th and shorts, go for it. What do you think?
Not only go for it, but if you are going to try and just... I understand what you're saying about going for it and also using the hard count. But if your plan is to fake it with the hard count, like, run up there. Like, don't make it obvious that you're faking it. They do this thing where, like, it's just... Even I know. Like, I'm not even expecting a play call. And like, just have the 4th down play ready to go. You know what I mean? And I know that some of this... No. And I'm right on board with you. I've been saying this for a number of years. This extends actually all the way back to the Coughlin era for me, is if you're not going to go for it, at least make it look convincing like you're going to. Right. This half-assed trot out there and, like, the center's doesn't have his hand on the ball and stuff like that. Like, that fools nobody, and all you've done is waste my time.
Yeah.
So, exactly. And like, I understand that the delay of game might help for a better punt scenario, and you want that anyway, but still you can make it convincing.
Right, but the thing is, maybe the mentality should not be better placement for the punt, but...
Oh, yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Trying to extend a drive, trying to having another opportunity to score. This team is not a big play team. They have to grind out these possessions, and you only get so many possessions when you have to grind out every possession. So you should try to maximize the potential for scoring on each possession. So to me, I think it's being out of that comfort zone and being more aggressive.
Yeah, and I'm like wondering, like, is giving Brady, like, the fear of giving Brady a short field, does it really matter that much?
I mean,
I guess, you know what? I'm giving him too much fucking credit.
It's every quarterback, though. I mean, that you have that fear of giving them this, you're playing defensive, and you're not playing what I refer to all year long as the modern NFL. The modern NFL have as many opportunities to score as you can get, and trying to maximize when you do. And being afraid of them trying to score is not helping you score.
Yeah, you know what? I was going down a path that I don't like, and I agree with you. Yeah, you know what? And Tom Brady, forget this. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. He's not going to be fooled by things, right? I mean, Bruce Arians is a real smart guy. He's not going to be fooled by things. We're going to trip him up, but you can't come in, and I don't think that we're going to come in with a singular game plan of how to stop this offense. You come in there with, here's our game plan, and when they adjust to that, here's our adjustment to that, and when they adjust to that, that's the only way you can do this, because Tom Brady has shown throughout his entire career that the one thing that he is really good at is just completely flipping the script in the middle of a game, and until it, and not only does it work, it like works like a charm. I mean, look no further than the Super Bowl against the Falcons. I know there's a million reasons for that, you know, whatever. Who is the OC for the Falcons then? Sarkisian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that the...
No, it's Sarkisian's with Texas now.
Yeah, but I mean in that Super Bowl.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, I know the Falcons came out at halftime and they phoned it in, and that's kind of why they lost. But, I mean, that's not entirely why they lost. Brady has shown time and time again that he can adjust. So this is a great game to be playing coming off a bye week. I hope that the coaches spent time really coming up with a plan for this one, because I think they can be had, and not only do the Giants need this win, I mean, that's it. The Giants need this win. That's it. It doesn't matter. I don't care if they're playing the New Jersey Generals. They need to win this game. It's not even about the fact that the Bucs are 6-3 and that it's Tom Brady and they just won the Super Bowl. It's not even really about that. They could be playing the Jets tomorrow. They could be playing anyone. They need to win every game. They cannot lose more than 2 more games the rest of the year. They can't. Not if they're trying to be serious. So I know that this is probably the hardest one left on the schedule. I know we have Dallas again too. That one's going to be pretty tough, but got to go in there swinging, come out with a win. I don't really.
Also, and just make me a believer that they actually deserve to be a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to somehow sneak in at 7 and 8 and 9 or something, but you haven't beaten anybody good, well, are you really a playoff team, or you just won because everybody else sucks? I mean, give me some reason to believe that you deserve to be in the playoffs, and not like, oh, whatever. Well, they made it, I guess. Like, I don't want that feeling. That's just as bad as not being in the playoffs. Might as well not make it and get a better draft pick if that's the way we're gonna kind of back into it somehow. Let's earn our way in.
And one of the things about this offense that makes it really tough for me is that they're just pretty good everywhere. I mean, they have. First of all, their running back room is insane. I mean, I don't even know what to say about how good their running back room is, and they don't even really care that much about running the ball. They can't. They run the ball when passing isn't working, and it just. Oh my God, this team is amazing. You know what I mean? Their wide receiver group without Antonio Brown, it's not the best. Godwin's really good. Mike Evans is pretty good, though. I think Mike Evans has at least 2 non-called OPIs per game. I don't know why. Like, he just gets like a free pass, but he has his whole career. It's not like Brady related or anything like that. He just a big physical guy, and I guess he just doesn't get those calls. But whatever. Getting Gronk back, they have a really good tight end room between Cameron Brate, OJ Howard, and Gronkowski. I mean, that's probably the best tight end room in the league, right?
Mm-hmm. I would say so.
To me, this game, it doesn't matter about any of that. The first rule of playing Brady is pressuring Brady, and any way you can get to him is a good way to get to him. right? I mean, to me, that's the first way you play Tom Brady is get in his face. Get right in his face, throw your arms up in the air, hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him.
He's not moving 6 inches off his mark. If you can make him uncomfortable in there, it's a whole different ballgame. The problem is most teams can't.
Yeah, and we're not real good at it.
Priority 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yeah, so and he's real good at being smart. You know, if we're always bringing 5 guys, if he can figure out where the 5th guy is coming from, he knows whatever route is there. And he is not afraid to throw the ball away. He's very smart with the football. So you actually do have to hit him. You can't just pressure him. He's not Eli Manning, who was totally happy with just chucking it down the field and letting his wide receivers win when he had one-on-one coverage. Because sometimes that would be an interception, sometimes it would be a really great completion. Brady is much more cautious with things, and he'll throw it away, he'll check it down. You know, he knows where all the hot routes are. So you got to actually hit him, and you got to hit him hard, because he's not going to give you free turnovers.
So what do we do? What's happening on Monday night?
Well, you know, I'm hoping that we come at him with a variety of different coverages. We don't stick with the single game plan on defense. You know, we keep trying to throw different looks, and it's not going to be easy with Logan Ryan out. I don't want to skip over that before I jump to my prediction here, but Julian Love in place of Logan Ryan is a stopgap solution that is actually pretty good. It's fine, you know, in a case of an emergency, but this COVID shit sucks because going into this game, believe me, Bruce Arians and Tom Brady know to look for the weakness there, and that is going to be a downgrade. We've seen it with Julian Love in coverage. He's not as good. You know, it just is. He's a fine player, but he's not that good. So it's not going to be easy, and I'm hoping on offense that we have some chutzpah, that we've timed up our deep shots and we take them, and that we commit to hitting them where they're weakest, because they're a pretty strong team. I don't think that we are good enough to pull this off, and my big concern is that the defense is just on the field too long. I think this one's fairly close until the end. Tampa Bay pulls away. I have us losing 33-24.
Interesting. Well, if you guys watch the show every week, you know I haven't picked us to win in about 6 years probably. But seriously, I look at this game as very similar to how I saw us coming to the Kansas City game, where Kansas City, you know, was limping coming in, you know, literally and figuratively. They were kind of a mess coming in, and the Bucs may not be in that same situation now, but they are in a little bit of a lull right now, a little bit of a bleh, getting ready for, you know, the playoff run coming up. I think this week's going to be a little different. Again, this league is so wonky. You know, I'm looking at these games. I'm looking at Buffalo. I'm looking at teams like that. And we haven't had that kind of, how did we win this game this year like we did with Seattle last year? And I have a hunch this is going to be it. We played the Bucs tightly the last couple of years. And even last year, that was a game we really could have won. You know, they went on to, you know, get on a hot streak, win the Super Bowl. Like, that happens with really good teams that get really great at the end of the second half of the year. Hell, the Giants have 2 Super Bowls on their mantle right now that are the result of pretty decent teams that got hot in later on in the year. That doesn't mean they, you know, still aren't what they are. I just have a hunch we're going to come out and we're going to win this game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be kind of ugly. I think you're going to see some frustrated Tom Brady, frustrated at his own teammates as much as he has with the execution of the Giants. I just feel like there's just something weird out there. Maybe it's because of the lunar eclipse last week. Maybe because, you know, I am just been drinking Konas all weekend and the sun's been beating in my head. I am going to say we're going to win a low-scoring game. Give me a 19-17 win.
I'll give you any type of win you want. You know, I certainly hope so, and I could see it going that way. To me, I just think that there's only one of 2 ways this goes. It's real close, or we're getting our ass kicked, and that's just, you know, that I don't see the in between where we're beating them up or anything like that. I just think it's either really close or we're just getting destroyed. To me, my big fear is that with Logan Ryan out, it's a glaring weakness we don't have a great answer for. Because it's not like he's getting hurt in the middle of the game. I mean, there's not a whole lot of coaching up you can do for Julian Love, and Tom Brady and company they have time to develop a plan for this. I just and it might just be a little too early for Andrew Thomas to be handling the likes of Barrett or JPP. First game back. I don't know. We haven't seen it, so I mean, his practice on the side is not really part of practice because he hasn't been activated off of IR yet. So I mean, we have no reports of how he's looked other than he's doing this drill, etc. So,
are we sure he's playing?
We're not sure. We're not sure, but we're sure.
Okay.
I mean, there's a chance he's a game time decision, but the indications are very likely that both Thomas and Barkley are active. How much they play, I don't know.
What if he doesn't play? Does your prediction change?
We're boned if he doesn't play. I don't know. I mean, they have really. I mean, okay. So Andrew Thomas's injury is not of the variety like a severely sprained ACL or anything like that. From what I understand, it's just one really hurt ankle. He was playing on it, and then he hurt his other ankle. He now has no feet. So he was out for a pretty short period of time. The 3-week IR, he got an extra week because of the bye week, so he only missed 3 games. 3 games, you can come up with a game plan that kind of keeps Daniel Jones alive and you stay competitive in the game. Those 3 games were not against teams of this caliber or defenses of this caliber. I mean, I don't see a scenario in which Nate Solder and Matt Peart are playing significant time and it going well for us. I mean, you might maybe get a drive out of it. I don't know. I just, to be honest with you, I'm impressed with what they were able to execute the last 3 weeks, how they have. I mean, they really were not built to sustain the amount of injuries in the offensive line that they have this year. They weren't there yet for that. So, no, yeah, does it change my prediction? Not anything but the score, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Around the league, around the NFC East.
Yeah, real quick. Washington took care of business against Carolina. I think we all know Carolina is just about where we are as a franchise. They are somewhere in between getting there. The media just kind of jumped all over their fast start, but also Christian McCaffrey is a big part of just the same as Saquon Barkley. He's a big part of their offense. So
they need a quarterback. Going forward, they need a quarterback, and they're going to be treading water until they get a quarterback. Yeah.
And again, Washington is winning this game without Chase Young. I do think that dooms their playoff chances, but they were kind of operating without a quarterback as well. So, and then flipping over to Philadelphia, they took care of business. New Orleans, I wasn't able to watch that game. That one wasn't available for me, so I don't really know what happened there. But they really took care of business. I know they have no quarterback in New Orleans though. So,
once again, I'm begging all of you Just Giant fans out there, get that GoFundMe page to get the Grump. This is ridiculous.
I mean, I was enjoying. I was watching the Jets and Dolphins earlier. I was enjoying it actually. I like watching the Dolphins.
I'm ready to admit that I was wrong about Philly. I've been saying all off season and pretty much up until this point, I thought they were one of the 3 worst teams in the league. Congratulations, Philly. You're not one of the 3 worst teams in the league.
Still bottom 15.
Bottom 15, but.
Yeah, they're
showing a little gumption and little, resiliency in winning some of these games.
For sure.
It's, again, we're not going to get into the tanking debate, but their future lies in all these draft picks they have coming up, and it's good for us that they're winning these games because they may not be, those picks may not be as elite as they could potentially would be for winning some of these games, but they are building a winning culture, and a winning culture is very important for the success of your coach and going forward. So,
yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, them winning also ruins their draft picks a little bit, but also if Howie Roseman is the one drafting, he, to me, is not very good at building to the draft. I mean, I don't think Howie Roseman is as good of a GM as a lot of other people seem to. So, if he keeps his job and he's the one making the picks, then that certainly helps us as well. I don't really honestly care about Philadelphia until we play them, though. Right now, with the team as it is, I'm worried about the Giants winning games. I hate Philadelphia, so I don't have the energy or time to deal with them if we're not playing them. When we're good and I don't have to worry as much, I can focus more about my hatred of the other teams. But right now, mine is more hoping that the Giants can get their collective shit together. So I mean that wasn't the most peppy ending to the episode. Sorry about that.
No, I mean the bottom line, Grump, is that if this team, if you're still in the camp of we can maybe still possibly make the playoffs, the most important thing for this Giants team, it's not what Philly does, not what Washington does, not what Dallas does, not what Carolina or any other of these teams. This team has to win.
Yeah,
and that
100%.
winning starts Monday night, and it's getting late quickly. And if you want to run off that string of, like we did last year, having I think it was a 4-game winning streak that put us in position in November and December, got to start now.
Yeah,
so
now's the time to do it, man.
Let's start off against a team I really hate, and let's make it happen.
Yeah. All right. So the game is Monday night at around 8:30 or whatever it is for Monday Night Football, sometime around 8. And I don't know. When are we going to do our reaction video, our review?
Might be able to crank one out Wednesday morning. I'll get up early, and we'll make it happen.
All right. So there you go. Next episode will be Wednesday, hopefully. And
sometime.
Yeah. But we'll see you guys then. Till then, go Giants.
Go Giants.